She like my kick game, and when you meet on kick game, I put her front row to Nick game. Now she in my phone with a nickname. It's grippy, yeah. Grippy, grippy. I call her that cause it's grippy. She thick in the hip, she a hippie. And she thick in the lip, she gon' lick me. And she sending a flip when she hit me. With a kissing emoji, she miss me. When she see me, she said she gon' strip me. She gon' chew on this stick like it's Wrigley's. Yeah. Believe it or not, like Ripley's. She said she was gay until I slayed. Now she strictly diggly. As soon as she pays, I'm on the way. And I be showing her quickly. On the highway, I'm doing 150. Like, I gotta get you up out of them Vickies. Pussy so good, I just had an epiphany. It's grippy and wet, you know I'm a vet, but you making me feel like a rookie. How you made me tap out so swiftly, but I'm back for the second round victory. I remember I saw you on 5th Ave with your homies Sabrina and Tiffany. I was thinking like, damn, your whole click bad, but I wanted your body specifically. Like, I'm trying to see how that glove gon' fit me. Like, I wanna feel like I'm touching your kidneys. Like, bitch, I'ma send all your kids to Disney. I'ma pay a little extra, make sure they meet Mickey. She a what? She a what? She a grippy. She a what? She a what? She a grippy.
Destiny, I'm tryna give you the best of me. I wanna kill it like recipes. You know that pussy like it was a recipe. Like, Shanti, I wanna make you a mommy. You look good as a redhead, black hair, pink hair, blondie. Like, sorry, I know I be on your body. Not make desire, but you a hottie. You let me hit, I'm a bust.
This song fucking sucks. I know Jaden has heard it already. I don't know if Pokin has. I had to play this on stream. This has been out for a minute here. This didn't just come out today. But oh my god, you know. It's bad. It's bad, y'all. What did Kendrick do to J. Cole? He scared him so bad.
I don't think that I just talk about money. Fuck it, I'ma talk about money. You push my business off like a potty. Can't get these niggas off for your body. I wanna put it.
I've never heard the song in full, but I don't want to listen anymore. That's the farthest I've ever listened. All I've heard is the beginning verse, which, I mean, let's play this one more time.
She like my kick game, and when you meet on kick game,
Okay.
put her front row to Nick game.
Okay.
Now she in my phone with a nickname.
Okay.
It's
what?
grippy.
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 Call her that 'cause it's grippy.
Grippy.
She thick in the hip, she a hippie, and she thick in the lip, she gon' lick me.
J. Cole. Kendrick scared the talent out of him, I'm afraid. I shouldn't say that. I want to believe, but Mr. Cole, what have you placed upon my platter, sir? I don't know what he's doing. But that's not the topic of today, because today we're playing Higurashi. I actually missed Thursday. I was hanging out with my girlfriend, and I was like, and then I thought later, like afterwards, like after I went to bed, I was like, oh fuck, I forgot to stream. I also didn't stream on Saturday, did I? Oh well, I was kind of busy that day and I didn't feel like it. We got one new tip. Yeah, I got one new tip for you. What? Anyway. Oh, I don't think I have my webcam plugged in. Let me plug that in real quick. Don't worry. You'll be able to see my face. That's a critical part of these streams, I think, is being able to see my reactions of horror to everything that happens in this game. Why won't my lights not turn on? My remote dead? Maybe it is. Well. Hey, watch it. You see a beautiful face? Yo, mama. I don't even know what I look like right now. I didn't do like... Normally I kind of look what I look to see what I look like on cam before stream to kind of make sure I don't look unpresentable, but I haven't looked in a mirror. I haven't looked at my face cam yet, so let's see what I look like. Oh, that's an unflattering frame to pause on. There we go. I look okay. Ray is in the background. Okay. We're gonna play Higurashi. I got Fortnite going in the background. You can't see it, but I got Fortnite going so I can get AFK XP. I'll tell Epic Games. They're gonna patch it probably. It's gonna be real necessary as we go on. I'm sure. Anyway. Let's go. I got this soda to wake me up. View new tips. I got some new tips for you. What? Notice from the police chief. I love those. Let's see it, officer. July 1st, 1982. To Departments 1 through 12. XX Prefectural Police Headquarters. Director General XXX. To the Chief Constable and all facility managers. Regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa Village, notice. As cases in Shishibone City, Hinamizawa Village have been reported by certain sections of mass media. It has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. 1. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station, 1982, Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Housewife Murder, dated June XX. Okinomiya Station, 1982, Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Student Disappearance, dated June XX. 2. Non-disclosure of information. Okinomiya Station, 1979, Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Site Foreman Murder, dated June XX. Shira Station 1980, Case Number X. Shirakawa Natural Park Falling Incident, dated June XX. Okinomiya Station 1981, Case Number X. Hinamizawa Village Shinto Priest Wife Disappearance, dated June XX. 3. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management, XX Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line, XXXX. Police Affairs Department, XXXX. Okay, so basically, let's keep all this shit classified. I got you. Now, last time we played, Rena was spying on us. Like, she got in our house and was listening in on our conversation with Uishi, which is no good. So I'm a little worried. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. You don't say. This shit sucks. What's wrong? Keiichi, you don't look so well. When did you go to sleep? It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite. My. do seem a little warm.
どうする
Well,
学校行ける
can you make it to school? Technically, I did go to school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. I don't like that. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena.
レナちゃん迎えに来ちゃったけど、どうする
Mom, I don't want to meet with Rena. I think she's possessed with a demon. Rena-chan came to get you. What are you going to do?
お休みする
Are you going to take the day off? Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. Okay, she's also possessed by demons, dude. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be. Uh-huh.
休む
I'll rest.
ごめん
Sorry.
じゃあ、母さんが断ってきてあげるわね。
Then I'll go send her off for you. Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. Are we gonna see her? And so... I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep-deprived I quickly fell into a deep slumber. So we're not gonna see at all what Rena's reaction to me not going to school was? I'd only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table, I found lunch prepared in a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would be back for dinner, but might be a bit late. In the house alone all day? Oh! 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 On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." There's also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it was really just leftovers from the morning, and just in case, went to the hospital. It chill? It's not chill. It's not chill at all. Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Erie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There's a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. Little guy, look at him. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen.
前原さん、診察室へどうぞ。
Abara-san, please make your way to the examination room. Well, everything is so chill right now. You know what? Maybe the demons are gone, and it was a one-off incident. After half-heartedly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." He gave me a shot and 3 days' worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I've been having lately, then it was worth it. Cool. Settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word.
やっぱり鬼隠しかいね。
Must have been an onikakushi.
どうかね。
I wonder.
まだまだ若い子だけゃ。
He was still pretty young.
駆け落ちかもしられへん。
Might have just eloped.
どこの誰とよ。
With whom?
季節のたびに東京もんが来ちょったろ。
That man from Tokyo who visits every season.
でっけえカメラ持った若者が。
That young one with that big camera.
あれと仲が良きゃったって話。知られへんの？
Did you know they were getting along pretty well? Are they talking about Tomitake-san? I can feel my ears perking up.
そら知らんけど。
I don't know about that.
でも、普通駆け落ちっても仁義あるだろ
But you have to make preparations before you elope.
う。書き置きとか辞表とか書かんかいね。
Leave a note or quit their job or something.
たらんかかんから駆け落ち言うんね。
It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message.
わきゃ看護師さんの顔見られんようなるわ。寂しいね。
The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad.
高野さんはしっかり者よ。
Takano-san is an upstanding young woman.
どこへ行ってもやっていけろん。
She'll be fine wherever she goes. Her name was Takano-san. Oh shit, they patched a bug in Fortnite. I'm gonna get kicked for being AFK. But that makes me so sad. I gotta move my controller every so often so I don't get kicked. That woman with Tomitake-san. And she worked at this clinic? Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Oyashiro-sama's shadow. But of course. Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. Uh-oh. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far in the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around peeved. I bet it's Uishi. My guy. Mabara-san. Good day to you. It was Uishi-san. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me. I fuck with this guy. There he is. What's up today? School on break.
ちょっと体調悪かったんで、今日は休みました。
Just not feeling well, so I took the day off.
お昼を買って帰ろうとしてたところです。
I was about to buy lunch and head back home.
そりゃよかった。
That's great.
実は私、お昼に行こうとしてたんですよ。よかったらご一緒にいかがです？
I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together?
ああ、お体に触るようでしたら構いませんよ。
If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me. I was just going to lie down after going home anyway. And I didn't really have a cold.
地元の食堂だと嫌でしょ
I expect you'd rather avoid using one of the local
う。町
places.
まで行きましょ
Let's go into town.
う。ちょっと走りますがよろしいですかな？
It's a bit of a drive, is that alright?
私、おいしいお店知ってるんですよ。
I know a pretty good place. I'd finally begun to understand Uishi-san's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that'd be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. Let's go get some lunch, dude. And get some lunch not in this town. I don't like it here anymore. I went with Uishi-san riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
昨べは遅くまですみませんでしたね。
I'm sorry about calling you so late last night.
ご家族に怒られませんでしたか？
Did your parents get angry at you?
いえ、
No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all that time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. With the big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This is where Tomitake-san died.
富武さんの捜査は暗礁に乗り上げています。
They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomitake-san. Uishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye.
自分の爪で喉をかき破るという異常さから、幻覚作用のある何らかの薬物によるものだと信じているのですが、
They believed it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat.
こういう症状、それも急激に引き起こす薬物はなかなかないらしいんです。
But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by.
もちろん、検視解剖もそれを念頭に置いて十分に行ったのですが、手がかりはやはりありませんでした。
Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind. We didn't find any leads.
漫画なんかによくあるじゃないですか。
You know that thing you see in manga all the
体
time?
内に取り込まれると分解したりして、証拠が何も残らないなんて、そんな薬。
Where there's a drug that doesn't leave any traces after being consumed.
ありますよ。
It exists.
演歌作詞、何でしたっけ？
So you've seen the troll something or other.
まあ、結構あります。
Well, it's pretty common.
でもですね、富武さんのような症状を引き起こす薬物には、そういうものはないそうなんですよ。
But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tomitake-san to react like that.
じゃあ、警察は富武さんは叩いて死んだってそう言うんですか？
Then you're saying the police concluded Tomitake-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be disassociated from Tomitake-san's mysterious death.
悔しいですが、今のところは。
Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now.
ですが、死因はともかく、死ぬ前に何人かの人間に囲まれて暴行を受けたことだけは間違いありません。
But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died.
たたりでなく、人間が事件に関わっているのは疑いようがありませんよ。
That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate, still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot and I followed Uishi-san into the shop. Oh, this is nice. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be any children in here in the middle of a weekday.
2名です。タバコは、我慢します。
Two, please. I'll make do with non-smoking.
こちらへどうぞ。
This way, please.
ご注文がお決まりになりましたらお呼びください。
When you're ready to order, please call me over. We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. We sat with Uishi-san in the booth.
どうです？
What do you think?
このお店のウェイトレスさんの格好。
Aren't the waitress's outfits here cute? I talked over him. I'm so sorry. Huh?
まあ、どうでしょうね。
Well, I guess.
このお店ね、いっつも大人気なんですよ。
This shop is always quite busy.
お料理よりもウェイトレスさんがね。
It's more about the waitresses than the food, you see. Did you take me to Hooters?
ああ、
Uh-huh.
大石さん、目がやらしいですよ。
Uishi-san, you're leering.
うん、
Hmm?
そうですか？
Am I really? This dude took me to Hooters to talk about murders and curses. He's still my guy. Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Uishi-san's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table.
昨日、ひなみ沢の昔話が出ましたよね。
Yesterday, we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we?
ええ。人食い鬼の里だって言われてたって話でしたっけ？
Yeah, that it was the village of man-eating demons, or something like that.
私もあんまり詳しい方じゃないので、うちのばあ様に今朝ちょっと聞いてみたんです。
I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my mother about it this morning. Uishi-san took out the notebook that was stuffed into his breast pocket.
なんでもですね、大昔はひなみ沢は鬼ヶ淵って呼ばれてたんだそうです。
Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi, Demon's Abyss.
鬼ヶ淵。
Onigafuchi.
すごい名前ですね。
It's quite the name.
今でもその名前残ってるんですよ。
The name is still around.
神主の妻が受水自殺した沼の名前は今でも鬼ヶ淵というんです。
The swamp where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Onigafuchi.
沼の底の底は鬼たちの住む国とつながってると言われてたんだそうです。
It's said that the depths of that swamp connect to the realm of demons. Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous swamp.
でですね、
And you see,
鬼ヶ淵は恐れられていたと同時に崇められてもいたんだそうです。
it appears they were both feared and revered. Respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was a kind of deification. The village of inhuman creatures.
鬼たちはある種の仙人でもあったらしいんですよ。
Seems the demons were Senin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts.
例えば、不治の病にかかった村人を鬼ヶ淵に運んで治してもらったりとかしたんだそうです。
Villagers with incurable illnesses would be taken to Onigafuchi to be healed, for example. Even if we are calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or Senin would be a more apt description.
鬼って言ってもそんなに悪い人たちじゃないみたいですね。
Don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons.
でもそこはやっぱり人食い鬼らしいんです。
They were still man-eating demons.
ばあ様に聞いた昔話ではですね、息子を治療してもらった代償として連れてきた母親を食わせろとこうなるらしいんですよ。
According to the story my mother told me, as payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went.
息子を治療してもらった対価が自分ですか？
The price of curing her son was herself?
それは怖いな。
That's unsettling.
もちろん母親は息子を連れて逃げます。
Of course, the mother took her son and ran.
これをですね、鬼ヶ淵に住む村人、鬼たちがですね、全員で追いかけて取り囲んで捕まえたんだそうです。
Then, you see, all the villagers of Onigafuchi, the demons, chased, surrounded, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. It's quite a frightening thing to imagine. Good times.
母親も息子も捕まって食べられちゃったんだそうです。
In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten.
おしまい。
The end.
その話矛盾がありますよ。
There's a problem with this story.
当事者の2人が食べられちゃったんですから、その話が残るはずがありません。
Both witnesses in this story were eaten, so that nobody would be able to tell the tale.
ありゃ。
Huh?
昔話はこういうの多いですよね。
There are plenty of old fables like this. In contrast to the ghastly tale, Uishi-san laughed heartily while sipping his coffee.
でもですね、
But, well,
他の昔話にも結構あるらしいんですよ。
there are quite a few other tales.
鬼ヶ淵の鬼たちが総出で獲物を捕まえに来るというのは。
Where the demons from Onigafuchi band together to capture their prey. I recall that Mion said all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped.
鬼たちの獲物は
Okay.
しかも
Awesome.
前もって決められているらしいんです。
They would always hunt down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh? It caught my attention. Uishi-san also appeared to be pondering what it meant.
ばあ様が言うにはですね、鬼の狩りの時には絶対に邪魔をしてはいけない。
My mother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt.
家に閉じこもって布団をかぶってろって言うんです。
You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said.
つまりどういうことですか？
So what does this all mean?
獲物の人を助けたり、かくまったりしてはいけないんだそうです。
It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey.
鬼の狩りを邪魔しない限り、村人には危害を加えない。
As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers.
そういうルールなんだそうです。
It seems there's that kind of rule. Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities. In other
ル
words,
ールを破ったらどうなるんです？
what happens if you break the rule?
さあ、
Well,
何しろ人食い鬼ですからね。
they're man-eating demons after all. Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the entire village was in on the crime. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers, leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it.
じゃあ大石さんはやっぱり村ぐるみもしくは村人数人の犯行だと見てるんですね。
Then Uishi-san. I guess it looks like it's either the entire village or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes.
前原さんはどう思います？
What do you think, Maibara-san?
ああ、すみません。
Excuse me.
コーヒーのおかわりいいですか？
Another cup of coffee, please. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. He waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking.
去年、サトシ君が失踪した頃から私は不審に感じていたんです。
Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared. Uishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
それで、サトシさんのお友達、つまり前原さんのお友達グループの皆さんをちょっぴりだけ。
So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Mabaro-san, I had a bit,
本当にちょっぴりだけですよ。
really just a little bit, okay,
調べさせてもらったんです。
of background checking done on them. If Uishi-san had said this to me before, I would have gotten angry at him for calling my friends into question. But as I was now, I couldn't.
とてもつまらない話になります。
This might sound pretty stupid.
前原さんがつまらないと感じたらいつでもおっしゃってください。
Maibaro-san, if you feel that it's stupid, please say so.
終わりにしますので。
I'll just stop. Uishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Uishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. The little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth.
お願いします。
Please. That was all I could utter. Uishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began.
1年目の事件の被害者は現場の監督さんだったんですが、事件の数週間前に園崎美音さんと取っ組み合いをしてるんですよ。
The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san.
何度か。
Multiple altercations. Uishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up.
2年目の事件で誘致派の夫婦が事故に遭いましたよね。
In the second year, the married couple who supported the dam project died in that accident, right?
現場にはお嬢さんも一緒にいたんです。
The daughter was with them at the time.
それが北条聡子さんなんです。
Her name is Satoko Hojo-san. Aww. Whoa, 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 whoa.
え？
Huh?
サトコって、サトコ
Satoko, meaning Satoko? Uishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down.
3年目には神主夫婦が亡くなられますよね。
The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the 3rd year. You
お
see,
嬢さんが古出理香さんです。
their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Well, it makes sense why she's the shrine maiden if her fucking dad was the priest.
リカちゃんが
Rika-chan was
4年目に亡くなった主婦はもうわかりますね。
the housewife who died in the 4th year. You know already, don't you?
北条聡子さんの義理のおばです。
He was a step-aunt of Satoko Hojo-san. Yo, why they killing all of Satoko's family? I mean, Rika too, but Satoko's got 3 dead.
当時は聡子さんはご両親を事故で失っていましたので預けられていたのです。
These kids cursed? She was in her aunt and uncle's custody as she had lost both of her parents in the accident.
被害者宅に
She lived in the victim's house. I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it snuck all the way to my feet.
ちなみに4年目に失踪した北条聡さんは聡子さんの実の兄になります。
The one who disappeared the 4th year, by the way. He was Satoko-san's older brother.
その、ちょっと、待ってください。
Wait just a second. I took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. But Uishi-san was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard.
被害者たちはなぜかあなたのお友達グループに全てつながるので
He's
す。
serious. Ah! Ah! All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends.
偶然に決まってるじゃないですか。
It has to just be a coincidence.
前原さん、静かに静かに。
Maibara-san, keep it down.
みんな見てますよ。
Everyone's looking. Mion? Satoko? Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena is different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all.
竜宮レナさんは
No, I got
去年
kicked out
ま
of
で
Fortnite.
茨城の郊外にお住まいでした。
Rena Ryugu was living in a suburb of Ibaraka Prefecture up until last year.
まあ確かにいずれの被害者とも直接の面識はありませんが。
Can't read. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims. He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
実は調べてみたら、竜宮さんは引っ越しの少し前に学校で謹慎処分を受けているんですよ。
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school.
なんでも学校中のガラスを割って回ったんだとか。
It seems she went through a school building and broke all of the windows.
レナが
Rena did that?
学校中のガラスを割った
She broke all the windows at her school? That same spacey Rena had? I couldn't even imagine it.
3日間の謹慎が明けた後も復学しなかったようです。
Seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school.
その間に神経科に通院し、自律神経失調症と診断され、何週間かの間、投薬と医師によるカウンセリングを受けています。
She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Maybe those matched Rena's easygoing personality.
でですね。 そのカウンセリングをした医師のカルテにレナさんの会話内容が記載されているんですがね。
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all the conversations he had with Rena-san.
その中に出てくるんですよ。
It shows up.
結構。
Quite a bit at that.
何がです？
What did? I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
出てくるんですよ。
She mentioned
親代様って単語が。
the word Oyashiro-sama. It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
親代様っていう幽霊みたいなものがですね、夜な夜な自宅にやってくるっていうんですよ。
Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night,
枕元に立って自分を見下ろすんだって。
standing over a pillow looking down at her. My mind froze. Couldn't process what I was being told.
その後、しばらくしてひなみ沢に引っ越されたんです。
A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa.
ああ、そうそう。
Oh, that's right.
レナさんはよそ者なんかじゃないですよ。
She's not an outsider. Huh?
住民票で分かったんですが、竜宮一家は元はひなみ沢の住人です。
According to their residency register, the Ryuga family used to reside in Hinamizawa.
レナさんがちょうど小学校に上がるときに茨城へ引っ越されたんです。
They moved to Ibaraki just as Rena-san entered elementary school. Did I say Rena? Or did I say Rena? I don't remember. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
前原さん、大丈夫ですか？
Abara-san, are you alright?
もう終わりにしましょうか。
Shall we stop? This is still a lot to dump on me. I can't lie. Those words brought me back. Couldn't let it end here.
レナのことが分かりました。
Now I know about Rena.
じゃあその最後の被害者の富武さんはどうなんですか？
Then how about the last victim, Tomitake-san?
誰と接点があるんですか？
Who was he connected with? Well, us. He was our friends. Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
全員ですよ。
All of them.
お忘れですか、前原さん。
Have you forgotten my Bara-san?
みんなで楽しくお祭りの晩を過ごしたじゃないですか。
Didn't you all spend the night of the festival together quite merrily?
何人もの警官が皆さんの楽しそうな様子を見ていますよ。
Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves. Now there was nothing I could respond with. Fell silent as my brain turned to mush.
そろそろ出ましょ
We should get going.
う。ああ、前原さん。お昼の薬は飲みましたか？
Ah, my Bara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine? I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Uishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I had chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. Never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. The dump. The big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitake-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car.
お家の前まで送りましょう。
I'll drop you off at your house.
今日は病気でお休みだったんですよね。
You missed school because you were ill, correct?
長々とお話ししてしまって申し訳ありませんでした。
My apologies for the long conversation.
なんで俺に話すんですか？
Why did you talk to me? I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
私、一応確認しましたよね。
I did check with you first, didn't I?
お話やめましょうかって。
We should just stop.
じゃなくて、
Not that.
どうして俺に接触してきたんですか？
Why did you reach out to me? I understood quite well that Uishi-san was investigating this string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Uishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, possibly know? I chant if there was a reason for Uishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I was part of Neon's circle of friends who looked suspicious to Uishi-san.
私ね、今年で定年なんです。
I'm retiring this year.
定年したらばあ様の意向で引っ越しちゃう予定なんですよ。
I plan on moving away after retiring as my mother wants.
だからこそ在職中にこの事件だけははっきりさせておきたかったんです。
So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light.
で、大石さんは疑ってるんですよ。
My friends are murderers. Ah. So Uishi-san, you suspect them, don't you?
みんなを。
All of them. Uishi-san didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings.
これはこの道30年の勘です。
This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job.
前原さん、危ないのはあなたなんですよ。
Maibara-san, you're the one in danger. Huh? I wanted to reply with "That's absurd," but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
私は今年で定年ですから、来年の綿流しの日にはもういません。
I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagashi next year.
だから今年中に決着をつけたいのです。
So I want to settle things. In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim.
所長からも注意を受けています。
I've been warned by the chief as well.
一連の事件は個々に解決しているから蒸し返すなと言うんです。
Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told.
これは一種の圧力です。
This is the pressure that I'm facing.
圧力って何のですか？
Pressure from what?
ひなみ沢の誰かですよ。
Someone in Hinamizawa.
着きました。
We've arrived.
この辺でいいですか？
Is this fine? Well, nothing's fine, Uishi. This shit sucks! After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears.
今日の話はすべて忘れてくださっても結構です。
I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today.
ですが、私は捜査を続けますよ。
I'm still gonna keep investigating.
親代様のたたりは今年で終わらせます。
I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse this year.
何かあったら連絡しろってことですか？
You're saying I should contact you if anything happens?
いいんですよ。
Did we didn't tell him about Rena spying on us, did we? I feel like he should know that. It's fine.
前原さんがどうしても連絡したくなった時だけでいいんです。
Just contact me when you feel you have to, my Bara-san. Although I understand, he's probably scared to bring it up. He's also, I think, still in coping mode about Rena, because like he likes and trusts Rena for the most part. So he's like, no, something's just wrong. Rena wouldn't do anything to hurt me. Gee, buddy. I wasn't collected enough to understand Uichi-san's roundabout way of saying it.
ゆっくり休んでください。
Be sure to take it easy.
病気でお休みの時に良くない話ばかりして申し訳ありませんでしたね。
I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick. I didn't really give any sort of response.
私はいつでもあなたの味方です。
I'll always be on your side.
それだけは信じといてくださいよ。
If anything, believe that. See, I want to believe him. But also, God, I don't trust anybody in this game anymore.
それじゃあ。
I'll be off now. Tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked up dust. Felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just the bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole. Damn it, I don't want to die. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. That's tough, buddy. We're only now about to be an hour into the stream. Oh, these streams are going to be so much more grueling, I think, as time goes on. Oh, I'm scared, y'all. I'm scared. I'm not afraid to say it, I'm scared. I'm afraid for my safety. 10 battle stars in Fortnite? That makes me so happy. We want your feedback? Not right now, Epic Games. Long hair? Yeah, look at it. Isn't that crazy? It doesn't look good when I put headphones on. I mean, I didn't fix it today, so it also doesn't look good now. But what can you do? It seems like we'll be seeing less of the good times after this point. Yeah. Things are bad. It's chill. It's not chill. It's not chill. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It's getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It'd probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it. No, it's Rena. She's on the phone. She'd be like, I'm gonna kill you. Oh, happy music. Hello, this is the Maibara residence. Oh, he's alive. Hello. This is Mion. How you doing? Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi's resting now, but shall I put him on? Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry. Haha, got you. Idiot. You fell for it. Huh? After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Rena was really worried, you know. Satoko-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said how unfortunate he's sick. Looks like everyone's making a big deal out of it. Well, you know. So, Kei-chan. Is now a bad time to come pay you a visit? I don't know. See, here's the deal. The only one that's done weird shit so far that we've seen is Rena. Because she fucking went demon mode on us and was like, liar, you're hiding stuff from us, aren't you? Liar, liar. She went demon mode. And then she fucking like snuck into, oh, she didn't sneak into my house. My parents let her in. But she was listening outside my door for like an hour. Which, here's the deal. She went to a neurologist. She clearly's got mental issues, okay? I'm understanding of that. Maybe she's not possessed by a demon and she just has a mental problem. And she's, like, not taking her meds or something. Well, maybe she is, but she's still sorting it out. Okay? I don't know her history. But, like, I could accept that. But still, I'm still scared of her because she might be possessed by a demon. But Mion and the others, I mean, Uishi just told us a bunch of stuff about Mion and the others. Like, was like, hey, just saying, they were involved with the previous deaths. A lot of them were Satsuko's relatives, apparently. Rika-chan also, fucking, her like parents, or her dad. I think both of her parents, right? Yeah, they both died. And fucking Mion was involved. She had some altercations with the dude who died in the first year. But, like, that's all stuff we've only heard from Uishi. And I trust Uishi, for the most part. But that he is the only source we have on that. And he could be lying. I don't want to believe he's lying, because I like Uishi. But he could be lying. He could be the demon-possessed one, for all I know. I don't know who to trust. Because these are my buddies. But also they scare me. So, I don't know. A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying. My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them. So I'll bring you some. Hey now, you'll catch me cold. Not to worry. Both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See you! Be there in a bit. Rena's coming. This is gonna be my first time seeing her in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. Rena's coming too. That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with me on... Will there be no demon mode because we're not alone? Or are they both gonna go demon on me? Who knows? I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. So far, so good. How you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest? Did just that. Rena, I'm still scared of you. Thank goodness you look well. I was worried. Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow. Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it. You don't say? See, my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Michan's grandma made. They're gonna have fucking... She's gonna hand me this, and there's gonna be a note with it that says, "We're gonna kill you." Probably not. Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty. Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion. Yep. Ah, there's one that I made in there as well. The one poison. It's Russian roulette. I wonder if Keiichi can guess which one. The green one, bubbling and with a skull on it. This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow. Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities? Ugh. Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow. Man, what are you gonna do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
みーちゃん、あんまり騒いじゃ悪いよ。
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket.
もう行こ
Let's go.
う。お家の人にも怒られるよ。
The other people here will get angry. Other people? The demons? Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entryway was a mess.
そうだね。もう行こうかね。
You're right, let's get going.
そうそう、ケイちゃん。
Ah, by the way, Kei-chan.
なんだよ。
Yeah?
お昼、何食べた？
Hmm. Hmm. So we're not safe in groups. Okay, gang, let's discuss. What do we do? How do we deal with this issue? 'Cause now we now have confirmation. It's not just Rena. That's a demon. Hmm. What if it's just one possessing? That's a good point. If both of them start on some bullshit. What did you eat for lunch? Sudden question startled me and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane it was almost meaningless. The way she said it was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate. Yeah.
表で食べたよ。
I ate out. She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied. Uh-oh. No, it's more than one. It's two. Maybe even 3, or 4, or more! The whole village could be demons! So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun? The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. What do you look like? Scary. See that? I think the console is the best one, but the remake's okay. The original, like, their eyes are creepy, but, like, they still have that silly aura. This feels creepier. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me.
どう？美味しかった？
Well, was it good?
なんでそんなことを聞くんだよ。
Why are you asking me this? Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone. Almost as if she knew that I'd eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There's no way they could have known where I was.
渋いおじさまとご一緒だったみたいだけど。誰？
Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale.
へえ。
Oh?
ケイチくん、それ誰？
Ichikun, who was he?
ひょっとして、この間の人かな？
Could it be the person from before, I wonder?
かな？
I wonder. I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything?
なんでそんなことわかるんだよ。
How do you know that? It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking.
さーてね。
Because
おじさんにわからないことはないからね。
there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever.
で、ケイちゃん、何のお話をしてたの？
So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about?
随分と熱くなってたみたいだけど。
Seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too.
みんなの話はしてないよ。
We weren't talking about you guys.
ミオンともレナとも関係ない。
That's not true. That's a lie. Didn't have anything to do with you or Rena.
聞いてもないのにレナたちの名前が出るなんて、なんだか怪しいな。
Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up even though nobody asked about that? Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like it was going to explode.
何を隠れてやろうとも、おじさんには全てお見通しってこと。
Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all.
それだけを忘れないでくれればいいかな。
Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
ケイチ君、顔色悪いよ。
Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good.
もう横になった方がいいと思うな。
I think you should lie down.
そうだね。私たちはもう帰ろう。
That's true. We should both head back home. As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I'd dropped that package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare. As if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。
I'm gonna need that, CG. See you, Kei-chan. Yeah.
明日、学校休んじゃ嫌だよ。
I'd hate it if you miss school tomorrow, alright? Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after the low laughter died off into the distance and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew what Oishi-san and I talked about? Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then, what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing. They were warning me that that was unnecessary. What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases. We're connected as a whole. As well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against? What kind of nonsense am I thinking about? I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare. For some reason, I felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. He must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked Was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Thinking about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Uishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena. I was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. I felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think they're a good bunch of people. I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything. They were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was pretty cute. Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Uishi-san and Tomitake-san, and I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Uishi-san that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Uishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. Shouldn't have even asked Tomitake-san about the past incidents on the night of the Watanagashi. I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity. I just hadn't... That's right. That's why they killed Tomitake-san. They censored it. That impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They'll probably kill Uishi-san as well. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that is going to be killed. Both Tomitake-san and Uishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Oyashiro-sama's curse and just die. Hey, Keiichi, what's going on in that mind of yours, buddy? It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. Okay. Okay. I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I'd just gotten up. The ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I need to eat those mochi. Hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made. I remember the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did delivery. That was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. He got over it much quicker than I would. I'd be crying right now. It'd be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh. This was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper. A, B, C, D, and E. Now then. They said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made up very neatly. So well that just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out.
Looks
like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's. Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remembered correctly. That meant 4 of these were from that large batch. What about Rena? You probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning, the one Rena had made was this one, E. For a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd pick up on it. But that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't the trap. Alright. Your tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma. Let's see. But he's having such a good time eating some delectable food while drinking some tea after his friends entered demon mode. Not bad. Smooth bean paste and soft chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. The mood is weird here. Now, how about Rena's? The creation is so delicate one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shipped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factors would be presentation and volume. A well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I only had 1 bite of Rena's. I'd probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. Razor blades inside. Seems my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. Oh no. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. It's a note. We are gonna kill you. That's the music we like to hear. What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Ren had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. First I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long. It wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to whirl around on my tongue. There's a bit of a metallic sheen on one end of it. Yes, there was a hole for where thread goes through, like there's a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well. Quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by it looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? Couldn't answer. But a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both of my hands over my mouth, and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was throbbing intensely. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat. Plop. Splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean gem on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. And after looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or warning or reminder. Nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion, and others, they consider me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless swamp. Dog, we are still on chapter 1 of this game. There are so many chapters of this game. We are on chapter 1 of this game. This is the shortest chapter. Yeah, I love tips. Enjoy a homemade snack? Go fuck yourself. You should kill yourself now. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to Steam. For having that trophy. That's so fucked up. We are on chapter 1, guys. Chapter 1, Act 7, I think? I think we're on 9. Few new tips. I love tips. Okay.
単刀直入に自殺させる薬ってないんですか?
I should quick save. Well, I'm about to save for real here in a second, but just in case. Let's cut to the chase. Is there a drug that causes someone to kill themselves?
直接的にはない。
Not directly, no.
遠回しですね。では間接的にはあるってことですか?
That's quite a roundabout response. You mean that there's one that does it indirectly?
自殺したくなる精神状態を誘発することはできる。ちゅうことだ。
It's possible to induce a suicidal mental state, is what I mean. The tension was so great that shit felt like it was going forever. No, that shit felt like eons.
難しい言い方になりましたね。何ですかその
It was
自殺
such
し
a...
たくなる精神状態ってのは。
Sorry, we should have interrupted you. It was such an uncomfortable feeling, like sitting there after they left and fucking Keiichi's trying to be like, no, 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 no. I've got to be thinking of it wrong. Everything has got to be fine. You know, like, fucking, they're my friends. They're my friends. And so he tries to snap back into his normal state of mind. Like, oh, I'm going to eat this mochi. I'm going to figure out which one out of the 5 is RENA'S. And you know what? I'm going to even judge them and see which one's better. He starts doing it, and this whole time he's trying to be like, yeah, RENA'S got to stand up to the champion of Mion's grandma. But, like, there's no cheery music. It all just feels off. And then, like, but he's still trying to, like, put himself back in his normal mental state. And then there's a fucking sewing needle in RENA'S mochi. What the fuck, dog? No, the tension is... It's really well written, but it's making me uncomfortable. Which is the point. It's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be?
例えば一般的な心理学見地から言えばじゃが、心理面が内向状態から外向状態に転じるときに最も自殺が多いと言われちょる。
Like a person with a serious bipolar disorder. It's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression. There's hair on my face. Whereas bipolar disorder is characterized by a passive depressed state accompanied by a very active manic state.
内向状態の時は自信を喪失し非常に悲観的だ。だが自殺もせん。
Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide.
自殺をする気力すらないからだ。
They don't have the willpower to commit suicide.
逆の状態もまた自殺をせん。
Nor does mania on its own lead to suicide.
今度は逆に非常に自信過剰で行動的なので、自らを順風満帆と思う。だから自殺などせんのだ。
That has an opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide.
なるほどね。どっちの状態でも自殺をしないのに、状態が入れ替わるときに自殺するんですか?
It's interesting. Neither state causes suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so.
内向状態には自殺願望はあるが、自殺という大仕事を遂げる気力すらもない。だが、外向状態が始まると、徐々に気力が充実し、体の自由が利くようになってくる。
There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower and their body moves as they desire.
なるほど。つまり自殺する気力が回復するわけですね。
I see, so it means they gain the willpower to commit suicide.
そういうことじゃのう。
That's how it goes.
だからこの時期に変な気を起こさんように処方箋を施すわけじゃな。
That's why patients are given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses.
では、富武氏はこの心理状態だったんですかね。
Then was Tomitake bipolar?
一般的に自殺はちゃんとした文化的な手法で行われる。道具を使用してな。
People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide by more civilized means. Like, say, hanging or jumping off a building.
自虐行動とは全く違うぞい。
Self-harm as though going through withdrawal is completely different.
富武氏の自殺は文化的じゃないですよね。
Tomitake's death wasn't civilized.
ではやっぱり何かの中毒と考えるのが自
You
然で
don't
す。
say.
最初に言った自殺したくなる精神状態を起こす薬ってのを教えてください。
So one would think it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of a drug that causes someone to commit suicide.
鎮痛薬の一部には心理を内向から外向に過剰転換させる効果があると報告されとる。
There are reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition that resembles bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant.
それから催眠作用を持つ薬を異常摂取した場合にも異常行動が報告されとるが、あまり一般的ではないの。
Barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid.
その2つは検視の報告だと違うみたいですね。他の可能性は？
There were no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities?
あとは病気しか考えられん。
All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness.
甲状腺異常を引き起こす病気にしばしばそれに似た症状が報告されとる。だが、それらは概して特徴的な症状が多い。
Something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid, and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. The Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms of its own.
仏は違うの。
The deceased exhibited none of them.
もっと突発的に発生するものはありませんかね。今回のケースと合うような突発性で自殺したくなるようなやつです。
I wonder, is there something that could happen more spontaneously? Something that fits this case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden.
他には、そうじゃな。脳障害によって精神に異常を発生する状態じゃな。
Are you familiar with organic mental disorders? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness.
これは薬物中毒でも起こるが、脳の外傷や一部の病気なんかでも起こる。
It can be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, encephalitis, a stroke, or even tumors.
つまり薬によらなくても異常な精神状態に陥る可能性があると。
Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state.
仏は犯人に囲まれて命に危険が迫っとったんじゃろ。
The deceased was surrounded after being chased and his life was in danger, right?
極度の緊張が続いて、それに分泌異常が重なって、さらに打ちどころが悪くて脳に障害が起こり自虐行動に走った。可能性もあるかもしれんの。
All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. It could have hit his head, and those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It's a possibility.
もうちょっと省略して言ってくれませんかね。
Could you explain to me in simpler terms?
つまり乱闘中に豆腐の角に頭ぶつけて、それで異常が発生したと言っとるんだ。
Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl and that made him go haywire.
じゃあ星には殺意はなかったってことですかね。
Yes, this means the assailants didn't have any intent to kill.
ちょいと小銭を巻き上げようと思ったらたまたま殴りどころが悪かったと。
He smacked him hoping to nick some change and just happened to hit a bad place. The two plump men laughed hoarsely.
なんてわけはありませんね。
But of course, it's not like that.
いかにも
Undoubtedly.
薬物の常用にせよ、精神的なものにせよ、仏の身元が鍵を握っとるぞい。そっちはどうなっとるんじゃ。
Whether it was habitual drug use or something mental, the deceased's background holds the key. How's your investigation going?
あら、こんな時間。そろそろ戻らないとクマちゃん怒っちゃいますね。
Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back soon or Kuma-chan will get angry with me.
おお、頑張れよ。
Yeah, good luck.
いいお年をの。
Best wishes.
いいお年を。
Best wishes. I don't quite like the way they were they were just kind of heartily laughing about Tomitake's death, but I guess they've probably investigated a shit ton of deaths and murders, so I guess they're probably desensitized. Anyway, second tip. Oh shit, it's him again.
いや、今の皆さんは確か。
We get a lot of tips with Uishi here in the office. Hmm? Those guys just now.
議員バッジが2人いたっすね。
They had national diet badges.
じゃあ、県議と市議の園崎だ。
Sonozaki? Then it's prefectural assembly member Sonozaki and city councilor Sonozaki.
面白いっすね。親戚同士で県議と市議やってんすか。
That's interesting. The prefectural assembly member and city councilor are related.
これがずるいんですよ。お互いの名前で事前運動バンバン。
It's dirty is what it is. Shouting out each other's names during elections.
片方の選挙中にはもう片方が別に講演会を開いて二重に選挙運動やってんですよ。
While one is up for election, the other one holds an assembly and they double up their campaign activies.
堂々と。
Blatantly.
よくわかんないんすけど、それって公選法違反じゃないんすか？
I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election?
事前運動にならない限り政治活動は無制限ですからね。クマちゃん、そんなんじゃ
Strange things are occurring, gang.
大変ですよ。
As long as they have no prior consultation, there are no restrictions on their political activities. Kuma-chan, the second investigation division is going to be pretty tough for you.
公選法くらいは勉強してください。
You should at least brush up on election laws.
俺、知能犯化は無理っす。バカですから。
I'm not cut out to handle intellectual crime, because I'm dumb. There was Prefectural Assembly Member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki. Also the Mayor of Hinamizawa. So they're all influenced by the Sonozaki family. What crap. Seems like Mion's family has quite the political connections. Looks like they were seen off by the deputy chief and the department chief. He came to me. That night when the department chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it. You have a lot of connections, so you might have heard something. Have you? Nope, nothing. Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and fish cake. The counselor stormed in on the police chief in a rage. Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. Prefectural Assembly Member Sonozaki and City Councilor Sonozaki were both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't handle being yelled at by them. They're like Yakuza. A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of the Hinamizawa incident is being handled. Goodness me, I'm not the faintest. No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa. Aren't you? I've already got my hands full with Tomataki's death. Really? I hope so for your sake. There's a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway on our food and drink. I'm having a wonderful time, y'all. That was quite the feast. This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet was feeling the pinch. Much appreciated. Nah, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you. I haven't been doing well there lately. I haven't been able to read the horses at all. Taxi. I'm going by train. Department chief is taking a taxi. I have my own car, but it'd be rash to drive it home. Can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI. Even though he could still rattle off, it looked like his legs were already jelly. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the department chief's address. Well, see you again tomorrow. Best wishes. Uishi-san. Yeah. Past incidents have all been closed. Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers half believe it's really a curse. Well, I'm not convinced. You're gonna be retiring next year, aren't you? Aren't you gonna pay off your mortgage with your severance pay and move up to Hokkaido with your mom?
ばあ様がどうしても生まれの北海道に帰りたいって泣くんですよ。
Mother pines to return to her birthplace.
最後のご奉公なんです。
It's the least I can do.
退職金はまあすすきので楽しむことにします。
And the pension. Well, let me enjoy myself in Susukino.
所長は退職時特別昇給を見直すかもってさ。
The chief said he may have to reconsider issuing your special retirement salary raise. Public servant severance payment is calculated based on their monthly salary when they retire. So, a special promotion of 2 pay grades is given before retirement. This tops up the employee severance payment. That tends to be how it's done around here. Of course, it's not exactly a commendable custom. Incidentally, the difference the 2 pay grades makes to the payout is quite significant.
さすがインテリの若所長は言い出すことが模範的です。でもまあ
I'd expect no less of our egghead chief. Quite the model of veiled threat. But, well...
私たちの給料が血税で支払われてることを思えば、まあ時代の流れですかね。
Considering how our pay comes from the public's hard-earned taxes, it's the way of the times, I suppose. It certainly wasn't a laughing matter, but I'll laugh through it anyway.
僕も模範的なこととは思わないよ。でもまあ、大石さんはそれだけの退職金をもらってもおかしくない活躍をしてきたからさ。
I don't think it's such a model response. But given how hard you've worked, it's not at all odd for you to take home such a good package.
僕としてはぜひもらってほしいんだよ。
Personally, I'd like you to get it.
もらえるもんならそりゃ欲しいですけどね。
If I can get it, well, of course I'd want it.
もらえるよ。大石さんが大人なら。
You'll get it, as long as you're an adult about this.
運転手さん、引き止めてすみませんね。お願いします。
Sorry for holding you up here, driver. Thank you very much. Closed the door roughly, interrupting the department chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looked like he still had something to say, but he just smiled wryly and waved. The wave didn't return. The cab sped up gradually and soon disappeared among the sea of lights. Ah! He's all up in my face.
参ったな。ローン返済できるかな。
Oh man, I wonder if I'll be able to repay that loan. How fun. Let's save. Going into Act 10. Are we calling them acts? I don't know. Because they call them chapters, but also this game is called Chapter 1, so calling it chapters just feels confusing. I need to stretch. Hair in my face. Give me a second, y'all. This happens all the time. I wonder if we can finish Chapter 10 for the end of the stream. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining as if I was inside. If I was inside. Can't read tonight. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door. It was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came to my room right now, then... I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Whoa. Keiichi? What's the matter? Sorry. I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. But the morning sun was already streaming through the gap between the curtains. Felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. And I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. 10 hours? I don't get that much sleep. It didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiichi, how are you feeling? Can you make it to school? I felt far from well enough. No, I wasn't mentally fit to go. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? What if it had pierced my tongue? There was undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Rena and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time we'll use a more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kinda. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. It'll be hard for you to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get on up. They say wellness is a state of mind. I'd heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Rena-chan comes and gets you. Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? You shouldn't do something like that. God, his mom is much nicer about this than my parents would be. She's like, hey, come on. Got bean paste on the wall? Dude, not cool. Although, I guess it was the previous day, so maybe they chilled out. Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. But Mion said as she left yesterday, I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow. Came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't even have to really think about it. She was saying don't be absent. Taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. If I acted differently, someone like Uishi-san, for example, might end up noticing that something is up. Meaning, I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm. In effect, it would end up communicating something to those who were undesirable. And it seems that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? Keiichi, my boy, I don't mean to alarm you, but I'm a bit worried that it's too late. All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. But could you really just move on from your friends? Putting a sewing needle in your food to fuck with you? I don't know if I could move on from that and just be like, I'm just going to pretend it didn't happen and live my life. I don't know if I could do that. And I don't know if you're going to be able to do that, Keiichi, because I don't think a normal person could be able to do that. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep on living like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could... I swallowed hard. I once again deliberate on the idea that I just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying, if I just forgot everything and kept on living like I had been, I'd be forgiven. Okay, but like, even if, like, your friend group is like, hey man, don't bring up the curse or talk to people from outside the village. They don't get to put a needle in your food, and then you have to be like, that's what I get for breaking the rules. Keiichi, I think you're getting brainwashed by the demons. Keiichi, your food is getting cold. Going to get cold. Hurry up and get down here. Rena will be here if you don't hurry. I'm coming. I crammed my textbooks in my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked up my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Given yesterday's events, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I need to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that had happened the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For this to be normal, I'll have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. We had some fun times. I think I could look past it. I couldn't. I'm sorry, my boy. But, like, if you sudden one day had demon, like, fucking evil, soulless eyes after, like, I spoke to someone from out of town, and you were like, what have you been doing with that outsider? And then you put a needle in my food? I don't think I'd fuck with you anymore. I can't lie. That's just how it is. I don't think I'd fuck with you if you... I don't think I'd vibe. I don't think I'd gel with you as a person and as a friend. You put a sewing needle in my food. I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. That chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry. My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. I do not want to do this. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. The Rena on the other side. Was it the Rena I knew? Couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual. Hi. Get away from me. Morning. An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway. I came since Keiichi-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today, I wonder? Oh, I was late? Oh, they're gonna kill me. The manner in which Rena was concerned was, without a doubt, the Rena I knew. That was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday. Pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death, and the terminal illness and suicide, the fatal beatings, and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Rena and Mion were scary. Of course, forget it all. Forget about all of it. Forget about the mochi, too. Forget, forget, forget. Rena once again asked to make sure. Can you make it to school? Yeah, I'm fine. Great. Let's go. Mi-chan is waiting. Rena showed me her usual bright smile. Couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. I don't like this. That silence freaked me out.
なのにさとこちゃんね、絶対にできるって意地になっちゃって。
You see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it. As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff. More so than usual.
それで?
Then?
さとこちゃん不吉祥だから何度やってもできないの。はう、かいかったんだよ。
Satoko-chan is clumsy, so she failed no matter how many times she tried. Aw, she was so cute. Back to normal! Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense, so I just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. I don't fuck with this. We passed by one of our neighbors and they called out to us. Oh my, Keiichi-chan and Rena-chan, aren't you two a bit late today? Mion-chan said she was going on ahead. Uh-oh, did Mi-chan look mad, I wonder? I miss Colonel Sanders. You know, I was just thinking that. I was thinking, man, I really miss the good times when we were fucking digging Colonel Sanders out of the fucking dump. Like, remember that? Remember how fun that was? That was a good time. And now I'm scared my friends are gonna kill me. It's chapter 1! This is the shortest chapter. How do we do more chapters of this? Huh? How do we do more chapters of this? Need to hurry up, Keiichi-kun. After greeting our neighbor with a smile, Rena turned back to me and poked her tongue out. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile. Keiichi-kun smiled. Huh? What? Rena stopped and stared at me. Okay, she didn't... Every time they open their damn mouths... I'm sorry. Every time they open their damn mouths or look at me, I get so scared. Like, every time she closes her eyes, I'm scared that when she opens them, they're gonna be the fucking demon eyes. I don't like her anymore. I don't like Mion either, because she's evil too. It's only a matter of time till Satoko and Riko look at me like fucking ghouls. I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down this morning, Keiichi-kun. But you seem fine. Fine. With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Kichimabara. How can you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that I thought had happened because I was bedridden and delirious. Really hoped that was the case. God would grant me just one wish. There's only one thing that I'd wish for. I'd want what happened in the past few days. More specifically, from the night of the Watanagashi up until last night. I wanted all of that to have never happened. I wonder how many times I'd wished for these past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Rena to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling. So, Keiichi-kun. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? That vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday. Did you eat them all? Of course, she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Rena was asking, did you get the message? She's probably trying to convey that Keiichi-kun. I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Mabara. Rena was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and mouth had gone dry and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly. De? Rena playfully mimicked what I said when I finally squeezed something out. Rena's reaction was still normal. It seems there wasn't as long of a pause as I thought. Somehow, I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious. However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well. I see. I tried to avoid the question! No! So did you eat them all, I wonder? My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I'd swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. No, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out of my wits, but that's how I played it. What about the homework to see if you could tell which one Rena made? That homework, was it due today? Oh, I tapped out of the game. Oopsie. Yeah, it's due today. Mii-chan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you. But no, I know, it's E. It's E. I can just say it. I can be like, I had a bite. Because I did. I did. That's the truth. I wouldn't be lying. I'm not a liar. I could say, I had a bite. I know it's yours. Because it was the most neatly put together one. No shade to Mion's grandma, but you clearly put some more effort. Not effort. You spent more time on an individual mochi, while her grandma had to be a bit quicker, still doing a great job, in case Mion's listening. And she did a great job, but I could see yours was a bit neater. Don't tell Mion, though. I don't want to shade her grandma. I don't want to piss her off, because she's also possessed by the demons. What? What demons? We're going to forget about all that. We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could just let myself believe, then even I'd think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena. You didn't have to repeat it. I recall that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Uishi-san told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryuga-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. It seems she went through a school building and broke all of the windows. Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows all throughout her school. Just imagine going through your school, breaking the windows with a bat. That's quite the CG. I'll also probably take that for the thumbnail. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast. Unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Yeah. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Rena smiling at me right now. But I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant, piercing sound of shattered glass, the crunching noise as Rena's treads across the broken shards, walking towards me. Rena's classmates going pale as they forgot to even breathe. I wonder what they did as Rena came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room to call for the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Rena bursting window after window, undoubtedly all they could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Rena to continue. It would be cruel to blame anyone for looking the other way. Now, they weren't simply looking the other way. It was the only way to protect themselves. If they had done something differently from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning I would, be the next window. Rena, staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling under her foot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Then Rena struck me with the bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crouched down to the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hit me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent, it was completely unnerving. Because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Rena wanted didn't come out. Her classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out? Of course, everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They gained nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there would be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in her anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Uiji-san told me.
でですね、そのカウンセリングをした医師のカルテに、レナさんの会話内容が記載されているんですがね。
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all the conversations he had with Rena-san.
その中に出てくるんですよ。
It shows up.
結構。
Quite a bit at that.
何がです？
What does?
出てくるんですよ。
She mentioned
親代様って単語が。
the word Oyashiro-sama. Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama.
親代様っていう幽霊みたいなものがですね、夜な夜な自宅にやってくるっていうんですよ。
It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night.
枕元に立って自分を見下ろすんだって。
Standing over her pillow looking down at her. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture. It was by no means a happy little conversation. Then what Rena did, was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths happen every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked to Uishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not of some curse. Except, it was people perpetrating the incidents. My friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe that those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Rena... was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice? Accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists? Or that Rena and the rest of them were deeply involved in the string of mysterious deaths? I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that. But that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meeting to my own convenience. Regardless of whether my opponent were a human or a curse, I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in. For no good reason at all. Keiichi-kun! Been making a really weird face. Why, I wonder. Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I'd realized it, we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exorcised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Rena could have done such terrible things. It was like I was trying to placate myself. Time for school! As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped in the classroom. Oh, I'm so glad we're back to happy hijinks. The chalk dust went to my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. I miss Colonel Sanders. This game sucks. How befitting for the truant Keiichi-san. I haven't seen... There we go. That makes me feel better. Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Rena. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan. Good morning. Not quite in the mood for it. I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. It's chill. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently. Haha, you don't bother me anymore. No, it's mostly that I'm in a terrified state, and I don't really have the will to react. What is this? How discouraging indeed. Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah. Take it easy on him for today, okay? Yes, please. Suddenly there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit. Hi, Demon number 2. Hey, Kei-chan, did you get enough rest? It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi, that hawkish gaze from yesterday.
Ohayo.
Yeah, morning. Was with that unenergetic greeting. Did you eat the mochi I brought you? I'm like this because I ate them. Those words were itching to be blurted out. I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but quite a lot were left over. Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Rena's? E. That's backwards on camera. E. Keiichi-kun said he forgot his homework. Yeah, my bad. But I didn't. I know which is which. It's the one you put a fucking needle in. Sheesh. Then we can't help it. Time for your penalty. Make it fun and not evil, okay? Flashing a leered smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. Of course, anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maibara, no one would ever suspect them. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. Hi. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. Wow. I fucking hate this school. I don't want to be here anymore. It sucks here. I don't trust my friends anymore. The vibes are bad. This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous of a situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Uishi-san multiple times, I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No. Calling it a warning was just my habit of understating things. Probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Though they had a method of completely erasing me, they were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using this seat until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn. Wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never. But were they really trying to kill me? I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. Even having witnessed all their suspicious behavior, I'm wondering like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what I wanted to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points are something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Rena and the rest of them, were they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Keiichi Mabara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. With Rena and Mion, had behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous, right? Rena just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me what I had for lunch. Rena was standing outside my door eavesdropping for a solid hour? She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? Is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? You heard from Oichi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her former school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro's Sama's fault. Did
you
just say that out loud? Bad idea. And how Keiichi Mabara? Don't you realize they're out to kill you? I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Is he stupid? Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check if anyone else had heard it. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I'd been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday, now intended to kill me? Right? You soft, Keiichi. This time, I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me. I need to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would probably have happily jumped into that circle. Yeah, well, the reason I'm not happily jumping into the circle is either trying to kill me! My Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving. The way Satoko spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt. Now, this may be copium, but we haven't seen Rika and Satsuko look possessed yet, so I'm gonna... I wanna hope that they're not evil too. But I think it's a matter of time till we see their eyes go evil! Huh? Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day, I wonder? And we were gonna win big together. Huh. Seeing Rena's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey, Keiichi, maybe Rishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me? Slap. Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Keiichi-kun? Yeah, was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it actually was one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive? Are you alright? Does your head hurt? Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to Rena. You're pale. You make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home, I wonder. No, it's okay, sorry. I can get home by myself. Just have the meeting without me. Bad idea, bad idea. They're gonna kill you. You're acting weird. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Since Kei-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were even going to play that deduction game from before too. Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch? How pathetic. Wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head. Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate. It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder. Sorry, everybody. See you. That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind. Took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Turn that heart, Keiichi Mabara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them. Because weren't they my friends? Part of me lamented my naivete, while another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. I felt like my personality was being ripped in two, along with my body. If this is what Oyashiro-sama's curse was like, it was just too harsh. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believed in it now. Completely. Your curse does exist. So seriously, give me a break. Beg you, come on. What a splendid time we're having, guys. Oh, it's nighttime. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it either meant he had just reached a good point to take a break, or he was in a slump. So yeah, he just didn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching, but when it gets in the way of business... I wasn't able to pick out much of Mom and Dad's conversation, but I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. There's a bug in my room. Fly. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me. No, they used to be friends. I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted, people I could depend on when push came to shove. There was something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been completely reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that had happened until now, would they understand? Rena, for example. That neighborly Rena who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day, and sometimes brought over a share of what she made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom probably would drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No, by informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Maibara family to have an accident or to just vanish into thin air was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. Which means that this house would be a safe haven as long as my parents were in. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. And the only person who could be my ally would be Uishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Uishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Uishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Uishi-san. No question, it was going to be hard. The timing to bring Uishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa. So I phoned him in my moment of need. It would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I'd just have to hide out there until Uishi-san arrived. Okay, I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah. It would probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typically that would call for a switchblade. But that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. Remember there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then I wouldn't be suspicious for me to carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance. It could be something like a note or memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanished, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san should be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. This is grim! This is grim. Ooh, this sucks, man. This sucks. I tore out a piece of paper from my notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maebara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I'd be in the type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Ren and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. That's why I couldn't write anything more. I'll have to highlight myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Oyashiro-sama's curse. Was that too much? Probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was a sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at that point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was in too obscure of a location, then there was the risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note on the back of it with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back into its normal position. Yeah. Didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I need to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and made my way downstairs. My parents were still talking about work. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask of you. Please listen. Just in case, yeah? If it's not urgent, can we do this later? Right now, Mommy and Daddy have something urgent they're talking about. I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I die... Both of my parents' eyes went as wide as saucers. If I die... I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame
あ
them.
の時計、工作の授業で作ったお気に入りなんだ。
I made that clock in shop class, and I really like it.
頼むよ。
So please,
どうしたの
what's the matter?
ケイチ。
Keiichi,
何かあったの
something happened? Mom was finally able to ask me with a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response for when someone suddenly talked about a subject like this. I felt bad about making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room.
俺さ、明日は早くに学校に行きたいから、もう寝るよ。
I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed.
おやすみ。
Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. Splendid. I need to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I still knew nothing. So fun. So fun. So fun. Wow. Another chapter complete. Let's save our game. End of chapter 10. Wow. Wow. We have to hit this continue button so we can exit the game. No thanks, Keiichi. Quit game. Wow, bad vibes, bad vibes. Bad vibes. Woo! How you feeling, buddy? I feel fantastic. Okay, so let's go over the deets. That's short for details. So we know for a fact that Rena being evil and demonic was not a one-off. It can happen more than once. Mion is also susceptible. We haven't seen it happen to Rika and Satoko, but I bet it's gonna happen. I think that they're all after me and they're all gonna get me, and I'm in fear of my life. But also, damn, Uishi really is using me as bait so he can solve this case, huh? But he's also the only person I can trust, so what are you gonna do? Good stream today? Yeah. The tension is real. I feel scared. Because, God, man, this chapter 1. It's chapter 1. How many chapters of this game are there? 8? 7 or 8? Something like that. I think there's 8. And we're on chapter 1. Chapter 1 is the shortest. So yeah, the vibes are bad. Bad. You really feel for Keiichi in this chapter? No, this has been a good chapter for him. Well, not a good chapter for him, like terrible things have been happening to him. Yeah, 8. That's what I thought. Like, bad things are happening to Keiichi, but like, damn, you really get his mental state and perspective here, and you're like, yeah, this poor kid. Like, it's like, man, this sucks that, like, you're kind of in this whole situation where you got these friends you trust and you feel care about you and you care about them. And it's like, oh, they're gonna fucking kill me because, like, of Oyashiro-sama's curse or something. But if there's not a curse, then my friends are just murderers. So, you know, great. I'm scared that my friends are killers. That's a fear I have. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Coping is real, yeah. I mean, there's no good solution here. Here's one thing I'm certain of, and maybe this is the game, like, setting up a twist, and this is actually not true, but I have my doubts. Clearly, my friend group has something weird going on. They've clearly got some involvement in these deaths and disappearances in Hinamizawa. And there's only two options, really. Either... Is my microphone being weird? Anything else for the thumbnail? Oh yeah, I know what I want, because I have a vision in mind for the thumbnail. I want the fucked up demonized sprites for Mion and Rena. I want both of them. Just like the blank stare. I don't want them like looking like, I don't know, just like their blank stare with the fucking glazed over eyes when they go fucking Satan mode. I want those. I want a sprite of Uishi, and I want those two CGs. The one of Mion peeking through the door and Rena smashing the windows. Because I know exactly what I want for the thumbnail. But yeah, either, there's only two options. Either my good friends are innocent, but there's just a demonic curse surrounding the town of Hinamizawa and my friends, and that's what's causing the deaths, which is not great because that means the curse is real, and I'm not really fond of curses. Or there's no curse, and my friends are just murderers because all the deaths are surrounding them, and I don't think it's a coincidence. So yeah, more Higurashi on Thursday. I missed last Thursday, and also I think I didn't stream Saturday, did I? Yeah, I missed it. Sorry, y'all. I won't do it this time, unless I forget again, in which case, I'm so sorry. But that's it for tonight. Catch you all on Thursday for more Higurashi when we play chapters, what? Subchapters 11 and 12? Probably. Catch you all then.